Hey everyone, Scott here. Have you ever wondered if you're making any progress in your faith journey with Jesus? Like wonder what's this all about? How do you grow? Well, last week I sat down with Jason Baskerville, who's one of our home church leaders, to discuss just that and the important role that being part of a smaller group of people helps. We're going to show snippets over the next few weeks from this conversation. And our hope is that maybe you'll consider, if you're not part of a home church or a small group, that you would become, because there's something about the dynamics that helps you grow. So here's our first one.
Well, we've been studying Brene Brown's book, Braving the Wilderness, and it has been very relevant to the times. So she's speaking a lot about gaining a sense of true belonging, but also being able to stand alone when you feel like you're out in the wilderness and not feeling like you have to be part of something just to fit in. So there's this idea of fitting in and being true to your authentic self. And so as we've explored this as a group, we've navigated some personal issues that have come up from our past. Everyone has been so engaged and shared vulnerably about things where they've felt that they just fit in, where they had to compromise their values, they had to compromise who they were as a person in order to be part of a group. And as we've continued on, she's talked about things like sorting people into groups, us and them. I know that's been something that we've, as a church family, have been talking about for years. How do we talk more about us and less about us and them? And how do we create a better dynamic of understanding when we encounter people that don't think the same way as us? So in our group, we have a very, very diverse set of people. And a lot of different viewpoints, a lot of different personalities. And it has been really refreshing to be in a safe place like a small group, a home church, where we can talk about these stories, where we can be really vulnerable, we can open up and understand that we don't have to keep our mouths shut in order to fit in. We can share these stories. We can be present with each other and support each other, even if we don't think exactly alike and don't agree. And it doesn't threaten our sense of belonging. It doesn't threaten the fact that we're all part of that same group.
That's interesting. So looking as far as growth in becoming a disciple of Jesus, in following him, do you see it as, is it integral, or is it just a good thing to do? Because I know for a lot of people, one of the important aspects of a home church or a small group, focus group, is being sociable with other people, just hanging out with other people.
So with regard to belonging in the group and having people with very, very different viewpoints, it's not easy. And the book we've been talking about has addressed a lot of issues that have arisen during COVID with polarity and with just very, very different mindsets. And we have had discussions about that, but we haven't made our time about the mindsets. Our time has been about building the tools, filling our toolbox, and giving ourselves a chance to address how we feel about those encounters and what that does to our sense of belonging. And community is messy, and man, we talk about that, how messy it can be, and we talk about why it's better to have face-to-face conversations and talk in person versus texting or social media. And we talk about what boundaries need to exist in a friendship, in a relationship where you do have a different mindset. And that's one of the things that Brene Brown actually addresses in her book is boundaries. And even though you are in a close relationship, you still need to be able to have boundaries. You still need to be able to set some limits and say, I'm not okay with that, in order to have a true sense of belonging. If not, you're just kind of floating through and fitting in. So,
Jason, thank you so much. It's there's so many different little paths I could go down right now, but we'll leave that for another time. But I really appreciate you sharing. And can you just show that book again? Can you just show the book so they can see the cover of that? I haven't even seen it myself.
I don't even know where the camera's pointing, so.
Braving the Wilderness. That camera there.
This one over here.
There we go.
All right.
Is that better? Okay. There we go.